Alright, what's going on, Ralliart family? For today's video, we're finally installing those coilovers. Again, these are the Rev 9 coilovers. It's been a long time waiting. So one of the first few mods I actually ever did for this car were actually lowering springs. So right now I'm currently running Eibach Pro Kit springs. They did a handy dandy job. Nothing is wrong with them. However, I just want a little bit more low since we got new wheels and there's a bigger wheel gap there. So I might as well figure to go ahead and change them out now. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for today's video. So I might have already got a head start last night. So as you can see, I got the passenger side all done. Well, not done, but all prepped. And I figured I'd leave the driver's side for you guys. And before I jacked anything up on the car, I got measurements down for every wheel. That way I know what to go ahead and change everything to later on. So they were pretty much all about the same ballpark. But let's go ahead and discuss some tooling. First things first, here is your end link. So that is going to be a 14 millimeter. Okay, it's going to be helpful to get a deep socket. Okay, here is the next portion. We have this little bracket that's going to have to be removed, and that is a 12 millimeter. Deep well, you don't really need it, but could come in handy. So there's that. And then the only other two things you're going to have to remove down here is this bolt and this one right here. And these are both 19 millimeters. So what I have is a 19 millimeter socket, and then I have a wrench on the other side to go ahead and break everything loose. So I already broke all this off last night. So these are all just on hand tight. Luckily, living in California, I didn't get too much rust, and out here in Florida I've been, for the most part, in a garage. So these bolts are going to come off relatively easy. I already did all the hard work when we did the spring install. But yeah, once again, 14 millimeter, 12, 19, 19. And then up here up top, these are all 14 as well. This little plastic piece is going to get in the way for this last little nut right here. What I ended up using was a 14 millimeter ratcheting wrench. Got behind there pretty easy, so that's all you need for the top portion as well. And moving towards the rear, so right here, all you're gonna need is this single bolt to go ahead and break loose, and all that is a 17 millimeter. And you're also gonna need a mallet or a hammer and a little punch to go ahead and punch this through. And now the last two little bolts holding up the rear are gonna be held right here along this column, and you're just gonna go ahead and look down. So there's one right here, it's a 14 mil. The one on the other side right here. So they're both 14 mil and they come off relatively easy. And then mirroring over on the other side as well. There they go. So like I said, I already went ahead and broke those off last night. So we were set. But here's my handy dandy mallet, little punch, and here's the little 14 mils I used. And I highly suggest you guys get some gloves. That way you're not busting your knuckles on anything. But now that I've caught you up on everything, we're going to go ahead and jack up the other side and get this project started. And I highly suggest you guys actually invest in a good jack. This is a low profile, so it slides right underneath my lip, no clearance issues, and it's been heck of a help. So this is actually from Harbor Freight. I think I paid about 180 bucks or something like that. It's pretty dang good. So actually, before you jack your car, you want to break your lug nuts loose, and you also want to come up here to the top and break these 3 bolts loose. So again, these are all 14 millimeters, and you also want to break the 2 in the trunk to hold the rear together. Once those are broke, lug nuts are broke, you're green to go ahead and jack up the car. Okay, the car is all jacked up. We're ready to go ahead and break some bolts loose. Let's go grab those gloves real quick. Man, it's like you can't even tell that this is aftermarket. It's so dirty. But there you go, Eibach springs. Okay, now that we're all gloved up, we are ready to go. So let's see, we're gonna go ahead and remove that sway bar end link first. That one in the past has been one of the hardest and scariest ones to remove because it's just so small. There you go. This is without PB Blaster, and it's coming off so far, so we've been kind of lucky. So we're moved to the 12 mil, get this bracket off. So we're good there. Now for the big guys. Big old 19 mils. One down. I knew one was gonna give me trouble. Here it is. There we go. Nice, I got some breathing room. Everything came off without breaking. And no PB blasters. That's pretty crazy. But bravo. Alright, so since I learned this the hard way, I'm letting you guys know this now. So this is the camber plate, right? So you can slide it inwards and outwards, and then here's your softening and hardening, dampening. Now there is no instructions on which way to go, and since I was kind of just doing this by myself, trying to get it up there, I just put it through any hole. And so as you guys can tell, I have this installed wrong. So we're gonna have to redo that one. But like I said, this is all gonna be a learning in progress, so I'm not afraid to show my failures. We're gonna have to redo this and get this mounted, that way it's sliding back and forth this way, and then yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But before we do that, let's just go ahead and knock out the rear section. It's just that 2 bolts up top and then 1 down below, so these should be relatively a lot quicker. Okay, I lied to you. So there's more than just that 1 bolt we gotta punch out, because there's no space to actually pull this out of the wheel well. So we're gonna come over here, remove this guy, and see if that gives us some more access. Man, this is making me learn really hard the hard way. So I removed those 2 down there, but we're gonna go ahead and remove that portion of the end link. That way it can drop down even further, because we still don't have clearance to remove that. So this portion right here, this is a 14 millimeter for the end link. Keep that in mind. Finally, man. Alright, here's the comparison of the 2 rear. And they're almost set exactly. Just gotta open up this one a little bit more. Same deal, don't mess with these 2 top ones, just mess with the bottom. Okay, new coil is in. I got that pin in through here. I got the bottom pin in for the strut or the coilover. And now we're just gonna go ahead and put this through the hole. That's what she said. Then we have to reattach that end link, put the other bolts in, then we'll head up top and tighten down the rest. Okay, rear passenger side is done. So here we go, that's what it looks like. Everything is bolted back down together, nice and tight. End links are good, and so are those 2 nuts right there. So I think we're pretty straightforward. And then once again, I have those 2 guys tightened down as well. Alright, so I just tightened the bottom with a wrench. I measured right here, and that was at 1.3 inches. So that's going to be handy when we go to adjust everything. Okay, both rears are done. Everything is tight. Double checked it. So now we're going to go ahead and fix that driver's side, the front driver's side. And then we'll get the wheels back on. Okay, now that I have the coilover, I can show you guys what I'm talking about. But if I turn this, see how that top section is kind of curved? It's not really flat. It's got a little slant to it on certain sections. So there's really no directional pad on top to show you which way they get installed. So what I had to do is kind of look level with the car. And you can see how this is kind of slanted inwards right up top over here. So that's how I'm going to line this up, just like that. Okay, so all the old struts are now out. All the coilovers are installed. So next up, we're just going to put these wheels back on, and then we'll see what adjustments we have to make. And look at this little guy back here. What you working on? What are you working on? He don't know, but he's got his Sharky-Doo little lamp back here. Alright, well, keep doing you. Okay, so I got all the wheels on, and the car is lowered. So let me just go ahead and show you guys my freaking monster truck. Keep in mind, the car is not on jacks anymore. And look how high that is. That is freaking crazy. Oh my god, you can literally fist that thing. Here's the other side. Yep. The rear isn't as bad, but could still definitely be lower. So I already went ahead and got all my measurements down. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the front about 3 inches, and then the back about 1.2 inches each. And we'll see how that goes. Actually, this side's a little higher, so we're gonna go about 1.5 on the rear. But just wanted to show you guys what it looked like at the moment. Yeah, it's back to being like a rally car right there. On a bright note, look at all the curbs you can probably clear with this thing. But one last thing before we go ahead and readjust everything. This was the height that I matched with the stock struts over there. So I matched them up by eyeball. And this is what it came out to be. So the forms were correct. If I were to do that, it's going to be about 1 inch higher than the stock ones. So that's about accurate. So we're going to go ahead and change that. But there you go. That's how you install some coilovers on a 2008 and above Lancer. Ralliart are pretty much about the same thing. I'm going to leave the video here. I don't want it to run too long. But there's the install of the coilovers themselves. So I'm going to be making another video right now on how to go ahead and adjust. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell, let you guys know when I do upload it, and I'll let you guys know how to adjust it. That way you ain't running a monster truck anymore. So other than that, I just want to say thanks for watching. Never live your life in idle, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.